Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Subaru WRX Limited with the manual transmission. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Nate Wade Subaru here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this WRX. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter flat 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 271 horsepower and then 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see the distinctive scoop there in the center, which is functional. I'm actually a big fan of the new headlights here at the WRX. I think they look a lot sharper than before. And then you can see fog light action down below. And then look at the grille, how it's metallic gray with the Subaru logo front and center. And well, this is apparently controversial to say, but I think the front end of the WRX, especially in white here, I think it looks great. Come around the side here, tire wheel setup is 245/40/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheels, metallic gray, which I think matches the overall theme of this pretty well. Now, yes, we do have the fender flares that are apparently very controversial online, but I think the contrast between the fender flares and the white looks really good. And then you guys can see side skirt action here, got the mirror cap, which is body painted, and then all the window trim is darker. And then taking a look at the full side view, I actually think, again, with the contrast between the fender flares and the white, it actually looks really cool. And I like the hips there on the back, because notice it's kind of like, you know, a little bit bulkier back there. Now here's a quick look at the key fob. You guys can see we've got our unlock function, our lock function, the opening here for the trunk, and nothing there on the back. So hold that down and it'll pop it open. Now when it comes to storage space, the WRX is actually very practical. As you can see, it's quite spacious back there, and like how we have WRX there on the floor mat. Now plopping this down, you guys can see we've got cool carbon fiber there with the Subaru logo, and then you guys can see all of the other badges. And then love the look of the taillights here. And then pretty aggressive looking exhaust tips. Actually, this has the STI performance exhaust, well, the mufflers. Cool. And putting it all together, you know, it's grown on me, that's for sure. I originally was like, I'm not so sure about this new WRX, but now I really like it. Now taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see really cool red stitching throughout, and then look at the carbon fiber print. And then notice the window is actually automatic. And then here are the seats in the Limited, which I think look absolutely fantastic. A lot of people complain you can't get the GT with the manual, but those seats look great. And then legroom back here is actually really solid. We got a storage pocket, we got some charging port action as well. And then headroom back here is also great. And would you look at that, we got a cup holder armrest. Taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with all of the red stitching, all of our window controls again automatic, and then the carbon fiber print. Quick look at the mirrors, and then there's like decent storage on the door panel. Notice it says WRX there on the headrest, and then again with the design all down the center. We do have our power adjustments here on the side, and look at that, manual. So we got a 3-pedal layout, stability control button right there, and then that's the trunk release. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see really nice padding all around. We got the red stitching on the center portion with our carbon fiber print and WRX logo. We do have cruise control, voice command controls, volume controls, phone controls as well. And then that's just for information there in the center stack. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now taking a look at the center gauge cluster here, you guys can see we've got a little screen there in the center, and then we've got the analog gauges there on either side. Pretty simplistic design, but it works. In reverse, we have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution is pretty solid. And then taking a look at the rest of the infotainment system, you guys can see analog controls for the volume and radio, and then our analog controls there for the climate system. It does have dual zone climate as well as heated seats. As for the infotainment system itself, response time, even with the plastic covering, is pretty solid. This is our little charging area, and then you can see with the red stitching and everything all around. And then here's our shifter for that 6-speed manual. Pretty notchy into the gates. Not the shortest throws on the planet, but I think it's still pretty solid. And then there's your reverse lockouts. Pull up with that tab and then push it over. We got a regular brake here, so e-brake slides, right? Anyways, you guys can see more storage here. And then we've got like the funky pop-up center console lid thing. So pretty interesting with that. And pretty normal glove box. And I like the trim here at the top. And then look at the stitching and everything there on the dash. And at the very top here, you got controls for the sunroof. Now here's a quick look at the window sticker here with this WRX Limited. You guys can see all the standard equipment. And then base MSRP, $36,495. And then here's your total MSRP, $39,693. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility here at the WRX. Before we set off, here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear, and, well, let's try to get my seating position correct here. It's always interesting to try to get your seat where it should be when you are driving a manual, but good thing it has power seats, because that makes it easy, because you can just kind of like inch forwards and backwards until you get the position correct. Love the sound of this, it's so deep. It's just like a really nice, deep, throaty sound. Now, one thing I am noting is the steering wheel material. It's nice, but, you know, like, I was just in a BRZ before this, and I feel like the steering wheel on that was nicer. Wow, this revs up fast. Yeah, that's crazy. And that revs up really, really quickly. I like that a lot. Still trying to get my seating position figured out. Sorry, folks. These seats, by the way, are very comfortable. They're almost too narrow for me. I've got pretty big legs, but they're just wide enough. And then the backrest and everything is also just wide enough. I love these seats. I love the inserts on them. They're super comfortable. Super comfortable. Or I should say they're Subu comfortable. Subi comfortable. Okay, I'm done. Anyways. Oh, so blippable. Again, I just drove a BRZ before this, and I feel like this engine is more blippable than, it's the same engine but turbocharged, but it's somehow more blippable. I don't know why, but it just, this likes to rev up way more than the BRZ engine. And you have so much torque. Oh man, this is such a good car. Wow, that's, yeah, I mean, I'm having a great time. I don't know about you guys watching this, but I'm having a good time. So some other stuff here. This interior is, you know, not as cool as the GT. Don't get me wrong, that interior is a little bit cooler, but, you know, a lot of people complained that you couldn't get like a cool enough WRX because they left all the cool stuff for the GT that's automatic only. I think that this limited WRX is cool enough, in my opinion, and I think it drives really well. Wow. Yeah, this thing's fun. Really torquey. Gears are pretty dang short. Yeah, they're a lot shorter than the BRZ gears. Like, even slow down here a little bit. I think the thing that helps out is the torque from the turbocharged engine. It helps with just getting you through these gears a lot faster. It takes the BRZ quite a bit longer to build torque. I'm noticing that. By the way, if you're watching this and you're confused why I'm talking about a BRZ, I'm using this video as comparison for the BRZ, and then also for my WRX review as well. So, summing things up here with the WRX, this is my favorite version of the WRX, the Limited. The GT, I think, has a nicer interior, but it only comes in automatic, and I'm a manual fan. I think most people are manual fans. The automatic in the WRX is actually a lot better than I expected, but this is really good. And the suspension's so amazing. Like, it seriously soaks up bumps really well. Like, there's so much travel with this suspension. It's really impressive, actually. Look at that. That is a pink. Wow. That is very pink. Pink 86. That is mega pink. Wow. But yeah, the suspension's really good. The shifter action is amazing. I'm a huge fan. I don't think you need to get the G, like everyone talks about the adjustable dampers in the GT. I've driven it, they're great, but the standard suspension on the WRX is honestly good enough that don't feel like you're missing out because you can't get the GT package with the manual.